Hello. I wanted to bring to you guys my collection of alcohol stoves that I've made over the years. I just did a video on my Billy Balm alcohol stove that I done many years ago. But here's some other ones, and I'm gonna bring you guys closer and show you through them. Okay, here we are. Now, these type here. This is one of my favorite stoves. I've used this more than anything. And it's the classic, Whitebox stove. But, I'll set you down here. This bottom part comes off. I actually have this in a video. And it's filled full of insulation, pink insulation in here. And here's just the normal stove. And this slips in like that. Now that here, and your pot sits right on here, so it's a pot stand in one. But what I love about this type of stove is I fill it up inside till I hit right about here, this ring right here. I'll fill it up to about there. And then all I do is light it. That's it. No priming, no nothing. Just light it, and after about 30 seconds or so, it will start blooming, and boom, you've got it. And you set your pot on there. I don't have any issues in the winter. I've used it in cold weather. This here is one of my best stoves I have ever had. It's right here. And I still use it. Now, these here are basically the same kind of style. I've used this here, as you see. And I had another one of these hooked to here. And here's a bigger version here. These here are all bottle stoves, and an inverted bottle is stuck in. Now that's one of my favorite type of stoves back in the day. Now, as you see, I have 4 of those type. Now we're going to go over to these. These here are the pot stand and burner in one. These little ones here, they only have this configuration, and that makes it for great. It's a low burner for simmering and baking. Plus it will still boil water, but it takes longer. But these here are great stoves for simmering and for baking. Now this one, this comes off, but the way this works, this is a Wick stove, and this comes out of this part here. Now you put just a little bit of water down in there, and then you put this in, and you just take like your nozzle or whatever and shove it down in here, and then you fill that full. You know, you could fill that basically right up to here if you wanted to with fuel, and it'll burn a long time. And this works great. I boiled water. I've used it in the winter time and so on. But you put just a little bit of water down here, and what that does is it allows this not to get too hot and start bubbling and burning within. It just keeps it, you know, burning out the wicks. So it works great. Now these here are the classic Popcan stove. It has an inner wall here, and so you put your fuel in here, it runs down through, and then it will heat up. You light it, and it will heat up. Well, inside here it will start boiling, and the vapors will come out. That's when this will turn and start into a stove. These here work great. So you can see, I've used this a lot, you know, over the years. This one here worked great as well. And then we turn to the penny stoves. These here made one out of a Bud Light can. This is your classic honey pot penny stove, but I've actually have a double layer on this for insulation. And here's just your normal penny stove with, this is a simmer ring. That would be high mode. You set that on there, that's low mode. So that's your penny stoves. Then you come over here, and this is your cat stoves. Your classic cat stove. These are not made out of the cat food cans. This is just a Coors Light bottle, I believe. This here is made out of the same bottle that I use for my fishing kit. It's pretty rugged. It's thicker aluminum than a Popcan. And this one here is pretty thin or whatever, but it still works. Now we have this. This here is a screen, but I took this tin, as you see. This was a Hershey Candy Incorporated York Mints, and I had cut that out, and I have that filled full of pink insulation, fiberglass insulation, and then a screen over it. This works good as well. But now, made that many years ago. I never really used it much, but I made it. And you come over here. Now, if you see the Tealight stove, I figured one Tealight works pretty good. I glued these all on here, so you have 3 Tealights going at the same time. So 3 times the heat. Now you can use something like this for a pot stand, a little bit lower or whatever, but you can use, a hard red cloth pot stand on this one here. Right now I can't put this on with one hand, but it does fit. Now we'll go over to this. This is my remote feeder that I made. Carbon felt stoves. I'll tell you, since they started using carbon felt, what a discovery. This here works amazing. I love carbon felt. I do. I love carbon felt stoves. That's one of my favorite these days. And this is my bubbler system that I made. The only problem is I cannot find the silicone hose. So this is just a vinyl hose. And that's the only concern I have about this, is this heating up, the nipple heating up from the stove, and this catching on fire. It has not happened yet. And there's other people that I have seen use this vinyl hose and they don't have a problem. So I think I'm okay, but it's always a concern. Here is the classic Crumb Catcher. Now the Crumb Catcher stove, it works pretty good. It's great with the pot stand because it will hold, a vast number of pots. Big pots, little pots, it's a great stove. It's very versatile. That is the Crumb Catcher stove. There is a video on YouTube how to make that. Now I'm going to show you how I've been carrying my alcohol. This here I take right in my kit, and this will hold, well, I think there's 2 ounces here or whatever. I just take it up to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 ounces or so this will hold, and I'll just take that. Then I have plenty with me. It has a little bit of weight to it, but I don't mind weight. Now, if I'm going to go just light, I use these bottles. These hold 2 ounces. And what these are, it's a Rage shot, or it's an energy shot. And this holds 2 ounces. These here make great alcohol carrying bottles. And also, if you wanted to, or these are, you could use this for your cooking oil, to carry your cooking oil. They won't leak. To carry dish soap, also for washing your dishes and so on out in the bush. These here are handy little bottles. Now we're walking over to my carbon felt stoves. This here is a beast. I have a video on my site, me using this here, although I have a metal ring in here instead of the hard red cloth. But this is a beast stove. It's huge. Made out of a Monster Energy can. I love carbon felt. Carbon felt, you can't go wrong with it. You light it up and it goes. As long as it's a wick of a stove. This one here, I have a video on this here. This is my razor head stove, as you see. And what I did is these are aluminum, and I just put one in each. And when you fill that up, it draws up, to the top, and that just lights and it works great. That's my razor head stove. This one you have seen in my videos. This works great. All I have to do is fill it up as far as it will go without boiling over, light it. It takes about 3/4 of an ounce, and that cooks. You know, brings my water to a boil, no problem, and so on. It's nice and small, light. I love that stove. And then I come to this one. This one has its own pot stand. It's on low right now. I take this little cover here off, and it opens up to basically the same thing as this. And it goes to high. So this is a 2-step burner kind of stove. It works really great. I love working with the carbon felt stoves. I love how versatile and how, you know, it's so simple. You can make anything. It's the simplest of stoves. And I'll show you what I carry in my stainless steel cook kit, you know, in a second or two. Now, I'm going to bring you over to here. These stoves here are all there. This is a bottle type stove, but it's a rollover stove. These ones I got from Hound. He is a remarkable builder. These 6 stoves right here, this is a rollover stove. Bottle turn right inside out basically. And these stoves here work amazing. This one here even has the little dimples, so it don't draw. When you place your pot on the stove, the cold pot does not draw the flame down any when you put it on here. That's what those are for. And I've got this stove, a little smaller version of the rollover. And then this here is basically the same thing as that one. Same kind of idea. Now I'm going to show you these here. So I'm going to have to set you down and show you my 2 kits I've got going on. Okay, here's the 2 kits here. This one here is the Hound Dog kit. This is Trail Hound. He had made everything in this. I put it in this container so it would protect it, and it's easier to throw in a, you know, a pack. But he made the pot the whole bit. That's the lid that he made. If you notice, there's 3 little vent holes in that lid. Piece of paracord. That's a pretty sweet looking little lid. This here is one of my prized pots. You know, he made this for me. That's one of my prized pots. Made out of a Monster Energy can. Wide mouthed. He put the ring in there. He made it a flat bottom. You know, he did one heck of a job. Now, but in this is a complete kit. In here, I have a bag with my alcohol stove, windscreen, and alcohol all in this. Now, I put it in a paper or a plastic bag. The reason why is these stoves, after they're used, they give off a little bit of alcohol scent and so on, and it may be a little bit left in it. Well, this alcohol in here is poisonous. And I read somewhere a long time ago that you should put it in a bag or so, or not carry your stoves in your pots, because the residue of the alcohol is going to get in your pots. But carrying it in a bag like this, I have no chance of it. So a lot of people just carry them right in their pots and don't have an issue. But just out of safety or whatever, I do it. Now what I have in here, I got my windscreen right here. 2 ounces of alcohol, and I have this burner. Now this one is a top burner. So I would set this down here, put my pot on here, and then wrap my windscreen around. I have everything I need with the alcohol all in this kit. All I need is a fire source to light it. Everything is all in this one little kit. So it makes it pretty handy. Now, let's set this aside. Almost, I think, you know, almost everybody has seen this one here, this kit here. This is one of my prized inventions, this kit. Now, I'm going to take the water bottle, stainless steel water bottle, with a fairly big mouth. This here, you know, is handy with its, you know, within itself. Silicone sleeve. Take the elastic off. There's my windscreen. In here, I have my, this is my pot stand, and this is my stove in here, once again. And this here is a cook pot or a cup. And this here is the simplest stove that you can make. Right there. All it is a part of an old can I had. I cut it off. A ring of carbon fell here and one on the bottom. This is what I use with this kit. What I've showed before, these little tabs, I put it upside down like this to store it. This fits down in like this. But when I want to use it, I flip it over, and now it sits up like that. So, the way I use this is put that down, put that on top of it. It's all good. Windscreen, good to go. This here is, I use this kit a lot. Look at the windscreen, you can tell. That is my alcohol stove. So like I said, I have been building these for years. And I guess why you keep going from design to design is to find out, you know, some work, you know, like I said, great for baking and simmering. And it will bring, you know, bring to a boil and simmer for a while. This lasts a long time, but it's not a quick boil stove. So this has its purpose. I go to this one. This one I have baked with. It's quick boil, 5 minutes or so. It works really good in the winter. It's a great all-around stove. I really love this stove, like I said. I really do. You know, it's according on the pot I use. I've used it with the, you know, Heine pots. I've used it with Foster can and so on. This here, you know, I've used it with big 6-inch, you know, diameter pans. This is a really good stove. But like I said, you're always, what you're doing is you're always looking for one that's an all good all-around stove. And when I, you know, found this one, this is the one that I basically stuck with. And I toyed with other ones just to play with them, but this is what I stuck with. And the penny stoves, they were good, but you had to prime them. These ones aren't too bad because you could fill this in full and usually it would go. You don't really need a primer pan and such. I don't really like stoves with primer pans. Not really, it's just personal preference. This here, these you need a primer pan. And that's one of the reasons, you know, I love this little stove and such, but you need a primer pan. You have to put a pan under it. Put some alcohol in the pan, light it on fire, and let it heat up, and then it will take off. And you know, it's still a great little stove, but I'd rather have a stove without a primer pan. So I could talk all night about stoves, and this is my alcohol collection. I've got a few wood burning stoves that I may do another video on. So I'm going to call this the end for this video, and you all take care, and I'll see you on YouTube. Bye for now.